With a body tool, you're going to grab these pins and just pull up on them. There's 2 of them. And you can grab this, just slide it right out of the gearbox. I'm going to remove the upper bracket for that covers the belt, drive belt, 10mm socket. Loosen up the alternator back bracket to pull this out of the way. That's a 12mm socket. You can lift that right up. Now we're going to loosen up the alternator belt tensioner, 12mm socket. And then I can, same 12mm. Now we can remove the belt. And we're going to remove the belt, AC belt, 12mm socket. Loosen up the pulley nut and then the adjuster. Now we can slide the AC belt right off. Now we're going to take the adjuster off the block. So in order to take the pulley off and to replace the spacer, which is right here, I'm going to take the long bolt off first so it unthreads from that spacer, and then we can take the holding nut off. 12mm socket. I think I'll take this off now. So before you bring it all the way to the end, loosen up on these 2 lock nuts, and it is reverse thread. So it's going to be a bit of a mind game with you. But you have to loosen these up. Let's spray something in there and get it a little bit easier to move. You don't have to go too far. You just got to go far enough so that you can take the end off. Now that should come right off. Okay, so I just put a pry bar underneath there, and I actually got it to move right up. Start the nut. Perfect. So now I'm going to install the pulley bolts. That's a 12mm socket. Torque specs is 28 foot-pounds. Now we can put the belt on. Make sure you get plenty of room there. Slide it over the AC compressor. Make sure it lines up on the crank and the pulley. And then I'm going to snug it up. Snug up these bolts that we loosened up earlier. So you're going to hold the top one from spinning, and you're going to loosen up the top nut and bottom it out. Make sure that didn't tighten up. Basically, this stops this from traveling, and that's the perfect adjustment. Once you bottom this out, you can loosen it, but you can never tighten it too much. Catch this one up to it. Now we're going to tighten this one. And tighten this to 11.8 foot-pounds. I'm going to put the alternator belt on around the power steering pump, then around the alternator. Now we can snug that up. Make sure it sits in all the grooves. Before I torque that down and tighten that down, I'm going to put the bracket back on and put it between the two washers. Put the fat washer against the alternator. That one like that. Bolt goes there. So now I can tighten this up, the brackets in place. So I'm going to torque up the alternator adjusting bolt, and that's 22 foot-pounds. I'm going to do the back bolt at 22 foot-pounds. Putting the last back cover on, line that one up. That's a 10mm socket. Let's put the air dam in. So before you remount these, you have to take this bushing off of the plastic clip. Then you can put the bushing in, like that. Do the same to the other side. Once they're both in, line them up and just push the push tab right in.